Welcome to Story Route Zero.
This is a podcast where friends gather to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and the strange worlds of video games. We often don't know where we're going, but that's half the fun. Come on the journey with us. Hit us up on Twitter at StoryRoute0. You can send us an email at StoryRoute0@gmail.com. That includes questions, concerns, comments, complaints, pet pics. Send us some recipes. Send us some stories about your day. We're going to listen.
Podcast, start your engines. We have liftoff. Let's have a journey.
With so much drama in the LBC, it's kind of hard being Snoop D-O double G, but I, somehow, some way, keep coming up with funky-ass shit like every single day. That was the incomparable Snoop Doggy Dogg. Gin and Juice off of his debut album Doggy Style. My name is Matthew Keel. This is Story Route 0, episode 81. And I've got two friends with me because Michaela finally got smart and took a night off. I've got Jason representing Jersey. How are you, sir?
Doing well.
I've got Moose representing the South. How are you, sir?
Doing good.
Cool.
Doing good.
And we talk about the video games here, but not before we ask how everyone's weekend was. Moose, how was your weekend? Thumbs up. Any highlights?
Rejoined our gym.
Cool.
That's pretty much it. I'll talk about the other highlights when we talk about what we played.
Sure. Jason, how about you?
Rejoined Ring Fit.
Smart move.
Cool.
Some of those exercises, they're not designed for people not in shape. They are no.
Yeah.
Gotta get that form right.
I mean, just the stretching, and I'm kind of like, oh, we just started. Are we done yet?
When you run in place for a while, like I think I did the one time I doubled my workout and did like 30 minutes because like I did 15 minutes like first couple of times and then double it another time, and like I was sweating more than I normally do when I'm on the treadmill for an hour. I'm like, this is insanity. So I never thought Ring Fit was a joke, but it's not a joke. Like it's no joke, man. It's gonna whoop your ass.
Oh, I've watched Reba do a couple of workouts, and I'm like, I want to do that, but she looks like she's working real hard, and I'd rather just see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As for me, I know stuff happened this weekend that was good, but honestly, I don't remember a whole lot of it because Reba blew my mind with some dinner last night in a way that I didn't expect. One of my favorite dishes is, well, you can put it over any pasta, but it's like spaghetti aglio olio. Or aglio e olio. I think that's how you say it. I'm not Italian. I apologize if I butcher it, but it's basically a garlic oil pasta. There's no real protein in it, but it's surprisingly bright and green. But also, she had the genius idea of squirting lemon into it, and it was really one of the best meals she's ever made me. And like I've been thinking about it all day, and I usually don't like food like that. But like I've been like, even when I was eating lunch today, I'm like, man, remember that pasta I ate yesterday? Because I ate like a pound of it. I ate a lot. and it was wonderful. I wish there was leftovers, but no, we fucked that up beyond repair. So I honestly, I'm just thinking about that, how lucky I was to have a wonderful wife to make that for me.
Dude, pasta's delicious.
Yes. And when you, I mean,
It's
huh?
Al Pacino's favorite pasta dish, and some restaurants actually call it the Al Pacino.
What is it? What I just,
What you described is Al.
oh, really?
Yeah,
I did not know that.
yeah. It's in some restaurants they call it like either Al Pacino or a Pacino pasta or something of that variation.
Okay.
But
Like
yeah.
I mean, the only reason I know about it is 1 year when I first moved to Philly, like we weren't doing a Thanksgiving. And so we had a bunch of friends over and we all just sort of made like we did like one of those Friendsgiving potlucks, like we didn't have a turkey. And my ex-wife and I both made our own pasta dishes. And I was like super, and I'm gonna say it, I was super butthurt about this because I put a lot, because I had heard of the only reason I chose to make this is because, well, stupid reasons. One, I'm a Beastie Boys fan and they have an EP called Aglio e Olio. And I'm like, I'm going to make that just because that Beastie Boys EP. And it was, I mean, I'm not a cook, let alone a bad or a good one. But I made this, and because it didn't look pretty, like it's not a pretty looking dish. It looks like boiled spaghetti and spinach leaves. And the way I cut it is, and I don't cut spinach leaves very well. So my bowl, when I made it, and it looked like a mess. So people were understandably looking at it going, I'm not going to eat that. That doesn't even look cooked. And nobody tried it. And to this day, it's like the best thing that I've ever made. And I'm not saying that because I made it. I'm not like the person who burns the entree and then for spite just eats it and says y'all are missing out. I will admit when I make a bad meal. But I made this and I was so proud at how wonderful it turned out. I've had it at restaurants, or at least there was a restaurant I had it at after that time. That restaurant doesn't exist anymore, or doesn't exist in the same way anymore because, hipster culture changes. But it's something that I've wanted to have ever since. And because Reba really enjoys cooking, my original goal was to try and us to make this together, but it's a quick dish if you know what you're doing in the kitchen. Spoiler alert, I don't. She basically whipped it up in 20 minutes, and yeah, she made one of the best meals she's ever made me. And I've told her, I'm like, I want this in rotation. I want to have it again. And hopefully one time I can pay her back by making something other than waffles, because that's the one thing I know I'm very good at. And we don't always like the carbs in this house, so, or maybe we like the carbs, but we shouldn't. Carbs are just kind of mean to you, even though they're delicious. But yeah, that's basically my weekend in a meal. So what y'all been playing? Not everybody at once, please. Calm down, one at a time. Do we want to just do one at a time and one at a time? And okay, so I'll just start. Okay, Moose, go ahead.
A lot of betas. Well, mainly two. So
Moose
this weekend,
Cool, master of the betas.
That's right.
I got to do all this shit when Michaela's gone.
If you pre-ordered Diablo 2 Resurrected Edition, the beta went live Friday at like noon, which was really weird because I took my lunch break and I logged on just to see, what was going on PlayStation, because I think it said it's told me some set of hours like Thursday night, and I wasn't gonna do the math. Like it was like 18 hours or something like that. I'm like, I don't know what time that's gonna be, so I'll just play it tomorrow evening. And I logged on. I clocked out, and I logged onto the PS5 because I'm working from home because networks is shit at work. And it was like 20 minutes until you could play. And I was like, son of a bitch, I should have waited a little bit longer to take that lunch break. But anyways, so that started Friday, and then the Back for Blood open beta started Friday as well. And so I downloaded that and played a hell of a lot of Diablo 2 Resurrected Edition. Sadly, your beta progression doesn't carry over to the main game, which is fine because like I'd have no issue replaying it over again. But I got some problems with Diablo 2. I know it's like an older game. I feel Blizzard did a great job with Diablo 3 making it a game that you can use a controller to play. And Diablo 2 is like a half step in that direction. Like you can play with a controller and it's fine, but there is no fucking precision whatsoever. So like some of the enemies, you'll have like a shaman who just resurrects like the dead bodies that you kill. So if you don't kill him, like he's the healer, like he'll just keep healing stuff and you're going to die because you can't out DPS and stuff. Well, unless I played as a paladin at first and leveled that character for a while, and then I started as an Amazon to try another class. My Amazon, I'm using a spear, two-handed spear, and then my second, which is nice because you can alternate your weapons. You can have like 2 weapon setups, which is nice. So I have a bow and arrows for my long range, and then I switch to the spear if I have to get up close and personal. I generally have to switch to my spear and run up to the shaman to kill it. Otherwise, the game is just targeting like all the little shit monsters that he spawns, and it's like, you're not helping me. Like I want to target the guy in the back. Like what's nice about Diablo 3 is like you can hold down, I think it's L2, and then just switch with the right analog stick to which target you want to actually target and focus your DPS on. And that works a lot better. With Diablo 2, it doesn't do that. So I feel like that, and I understand they want to make the game play as close to the way the game played when it originally came out, but I'm like, I don't think the game was out on consoles. As far as I can remember, it wasn't. It was a PC only. It's mouse, mouse and keyboard, which is fine. So it's like, you need to have like, there needs to be some better AI when I'm trying to target stuff. Or so like what they did was they relegated what's cool though is you get like 2 action bars. So you'll hold down the L2 and get a second line of action bars. What they should have did was they should have just took away R2 as a button, or just took away L2 or whatever and made it something else for you to have to hit to make your second action bar, like L1 or something. And you would have lost. I'd rather lose a button on both bars to be able to hold down L1 or L2 to target something, and then have to hold L1 to switch to another bar, and then not be able to target something and change my targets. So anyways, that's a problem with it. I know I'll get shit for this, but it's not fucking 2000. It's not 1999, 2000. Fixed. The inventory system is trash. Like, I understand people like their little boxes and they're playing Tetris with their inventory. And then, like, yes, you can sort your inventory, but it doesn't sort it the way I want to sort it. So then I have to mess with it the way I want to mess with it. But it's like you're running around and you can't pick up any loot because it's like you're over encumbered in like 2 seconds. Diablo 3 fixed that issue with, what was it, 30 bag slots at first, then you could buy up to 60. So you have 60 bag slots, and it doesn't matter. Like you'll get a freaking spear, and the spear's at an angle, so it takes up 8 of your slots instead of just 4. And you're like,
oh,
really,
you mean
guys?
it's Diablo?
I'm like, really, guys? Like, you're like, I understand. They could have took the remastering a step further. I was talking to TB about this because he was like, but it's Diablo and like you can auto sort your inventory. It's like, that's not the point. the point is I'm leaving stuff behind that I can't take and turn in for money to be able to buy new stuff. And I'm like, they should have took the inventory a step. They should have took the remaster step further and remastered the inventory and said, listen, you can play in the new graphics, you can turn that off and on, which you can turn off and on the fly, which is awesome. Like it looks completely different. Like you could just change it up. You hold down L2 and hit the trackpad, and you're looking at the old graphics or the new graphics, and it's really cool. So they basically have the old game running underneath the new game. They could have just like put it in the options to say, do you want inventory like old school Diablo, or would you like a newer inventory system? You know what I mean? And they could have modernized it a little bit for the people that don't want to like slam their head against the wall, like trying to figure out like, okay, well, there's 4 blue items around me and I can't pick up anymore, so I got to take a town portal back. Oh, I can only pick up 2 items because one's a spear and takes up 8 of the 10 that I freed up, so I got to take that back and then take another portal back, and it's just, it gets ridiculous. We talked about the charms in the game. It's like you don't have a charm slot, it just sits in your inventory. Oh, great, take up more fucking space in my inventory, so it's hard to deal with. Like even DB agreed with that. He's like, they could have made in the equipment, like take a certain amount of slots and be like, all right, you get 30 slots for charms and you just play Tetris with your charms, and then it leaves your inventory free, which I thought would have been cool. And in all honesty, I don't think a lot of old school Diablo people would have hate that. I think they'd be like, oh, actually, that's actually nice. Like I have 30 slots to put it in, you know, and then you could also carry it in your inventory if you want. So you have charms in your charm slots and then your inventory slots. But the story is cool so far. I'm liking it. So far, not so far, but the beta only has 2 acts as the first and the second act. Then you can play as, is it 5 of the 7 characters?
Mm-hmm.
You can't play as the assassin or the necromancer. So, like I said, I picked the paladin the first time around, and then I picked the Amazon the second time around. And so, like, I was also totally playing the character wrong, because I was trying to play it like Diablo 3, because Diablo 3 is like, hey, you have 1 stat that you chase down. And so, like, you know, like barbarians and crusaders are strength, and your demon hunters and your monks are dex, and so on and so forth. Well, no, like in Diablo 2, which is nice, all your stats matter. So like you have strength, which increases your damage done, and then dexterity increases your hit rate, which is how many times you hit or something like that when you swing or whatever, which is nice. I didn't know that. So my paladin was missing like a mother trucker as we were getting later and stuff. And then TV's like, no, yeah, you got to like level all the stats. He's like, it's not like running like a strength build in Dark Souls. He's like, and it's nothing like Diablo 3. So I was able to balance out my paladin. And when I rolled an Amazon, I balanced out the stat distribution, and it got a lot better. So anyways, I am still excited about playing the game. I'm just realizing I'm gonna have to play it a little bit different if the targeting is not going to be as precise as Diablo 3 or a mouse point and click. So I'm going to have to just, you know, like it's definitely going to be a lot of just kiting stuff instead of being able to focus on the shaman that's rising stuff, kill it, and then kill the stuff around it. Like you actually have to like back away, or like you have to get on, you know, up close and personal. I don't know. It's just, they could work on that to make it better, or they could have. If that's how it's going to be in the actual game, I don't know. I won't have a problem with it, but I could see a lot of people complaining about it. And then Jason, Jeff, and I jumped into Back for Blood, which was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. So they basically did, was it 5 campaign missions or 8, 5 to 8, Jason? It was 8. So, and they allowed you like 3 continues, and then you'd have to start over again. But I think it was at the last mission that you cleared, and so we were able to beat, you know, the whole beta. But it was a lot of fun. It was cool, like buying new gear, finding new gear, upgrading stuff when you could at the shops before the next mission. You know, like it's definitely, I feel it is more so a game. If you're going to play multiplayer, you don't want to play with randos unless everybody has a mic and everybody like communicates and also isn't a dickhead, because you have to be like, oh, hey, there's this gun over here. I have a pretty good handgun, because you get a primary and a secondary, and it's like, I have a pretty good pistol already because that's what my character started with. Does anybody need a pistol? And Jeff would be like, yes, I'd like a pistol because I only have a baseball bat. And it's like, okay, well, here you go. I feel like the bots are not intelligent. Like, so I'm hoping like in the actual game, they allow you to be like, there's only 3 of us playing, so we don't need a 4th slot. You know what I mean? Or just, I don't know. Hopefully the bots become more intelligent. That was something else like I realized about Diablo 2. I'm like, it's 20 years later, and the AI in Diablo 2 acts like a lot of the AI of followers in games today. And I'm like, you think it would have gotten a little bit better? Because like I always hated followers in Skyrim because they're always running ahead and fucking shit up. Because like you can't, like, it's just give me a set of commands for my companions. Like, let me put them on passive or defensive so they only attack when I attack, so I can play like stealthily on a mission. Like they're like the end of the quest before you go to Act 2, you have to kill like this chick. I guess she'd be like a spider chick down in this like cathedral, and the part like you want to clear the room before you take on her, otherwise you're fighting her and the mobs. But like your companion will just start attacking at anything, which is sometimes a good thing, and sometimes a bad thing. And it's just like, I wish you could control them a little bit better. And then I had her get stuck in a room one time, and I was on the complete other side of the map and realized I was like losing health significantly. And I'm like, oh, because my companion isn't here helping me DPS. I ran back to the room where she was, and I tried to like get her to come with me. She wouldn't move at all. I actually, luckily the room she was in was the teleport, like the doorway down to the next floor. I took the doorway down to the next floor and came back up, and finally her AI like reset or something. I'm just like, it's like ridiculous. But yeah, the bots in Back 4 Blood are sometimes really dumb. Like they'll just be standing there looking in the corner. Like we were like you could, like, all 3 of us, me, Jeff, and Jason, were like, are you going to get in this fight with us? Like, could you like participate? So, but the classes are pretty cool. They have like a deck based system. Like you can pick a customized deck of 15 cards, and then like it'll randomly pick one for you when you start a round or a match, and then you get to pick one of like 5 cards that randomly come up, which is nice. Like more stamina, quicker reload, more ammo capacity. There's even one that turns your melee attack into an actual knife attack, so it gives you a weapon melee attack instead of like literally when you start meleeing, you're throwing punches, which is actually pretty hilarious when you're up on some zombies. I thought the shooting was really good. Obviously, we played it on PS5. The haptic trigger was pretty cool. I thought the guns handled really well. But we did have one mission glitch out on us. There's like a mission where you have to like fire a howitzer at a tunnel to close off like the zombies. And we had 4 zombies, Jason, the entire time.
We don't know.
Like,
So, I mean,
well, like we would figure you would have to like hold off zombies where you're trying to fire this howitzer. And that's true. We don't know if it's glitched. It was glitched or not.
I mean, it seemed odd that all you did was fire the gun and nobody attacked you while doing it.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. Like I thought it would be something like 2 people or 1 person is the guy grabbing the ammo and loading the gun to fire it, and then the other 3 people are like watching their back and making sure zombies are dead. And I'm sure like some of the sections there's like, we didn't get it at times, like because like we would get a random 3rd person and he would run all the way ahead of us, and we're like, what the heck's going on? Well, we're trying to like fight stuff, and then eventually Jason's like, you could go. He's like, we could go. And so we like figured out that it was a mission where you had to just keep moving And so like the game doesn't really tell you that, so you have to figure out. And we're like, this guy must have already played it during closed beta. So then, as we figured out like what missions were like just go go go, we were doing a lot better. But it's a lot of fun. It's definitely moved from like I'm good, I can pass on that, to like something I don't know, might pick up on sale or something. So that was a lot of fun. I did play some of the Game Club game, and that's about it. That's about it. So.
Okay. Jason.
I finished Jupiter Hell.
Oh, nice.
And you wrote a review that I have not read yet.
Love it. It's a really fun turn-based, tactics-styled, top-down Doom game. I mean, that's no, it's interesting. It's definitely well, it's been in development a while. I mean, they had some legal issues. Apparently,
Gee, I
wonder why.
but it's out now. I think it would be cool on Switch. The way I think it lends itself to handheld, like, and you can save and quit. You
Okay.
don't have to like end your run, but your runs are, it's permadeath. There's no progression, so to speak. So people, I pointed that out on the roof because I know some people might not like that.
Yeah.
But I guess the whole save and quit kind of substitutes in, because if your run ends, that's it. There's no, so this is kind of like okay, well, since these are it's the one run only, you could save and quit. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think, like I said, I think it would be awesome on Switch. It actually tells you not to use a mouse because you can't. Like, the mouse is disabled. There's no, like, it doesn't actually function when you're in game.
Like, there's no mouse controls.
There are not even, and there's like I don't know if it was in because I was in technically the early release and then it became a release, but completely keyboard. But it's not a lot of times PC game, it's like, oh, there's so many controls. There's really not. You only have 3 weapons. You only have a couple. You can only move in the cardinal directions. So it's not like super complicated. And there's a lot of replayability.
Yeah, I was listening to the folks on Waypoint talk about it today, and yeah, apart from what you said about it, which has me intrigued, that listening to those folks talk about it, it was kind of like, I gotta look at this, I gotta play it, and it's only on Steam, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's on Game Pass. I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either.
Mm-hmm. It's possible it could go there. We'll see.
Yeah, that'd be cool if it did.
But I'd like to see it on Switch. I think it's one of those that it lends itself to like a portable setting.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like a good ass Switch game, to be honest with you. And it looks like it. Now, I'm not a developer, but it does look like it could do to the Switch what Invisible Ink did to it, except it moves more than Invisible Ink. So,
I mean, it looks like an XCOM type.
Mhm.
I mean, so I don't think it's a matter of if it will run. And I don't think the Switch is only for wholesome games anymore. I think
sure.
There are exceptions.
Oh yeah.
To that, not even exceptions. I think it's more accepted.
Mhm.
It's I mean, there is an option to turn off the language and make it less 90s, like silly. But I mean, when you have the language on, like it's Duke Nukem and the original Shadow Warrior style, like
Yeah.
Like if you try to shoot with no ammo, he's like, "There's no fucking ammo." So played that, reviewed that. I'm working on a review now for a puzzler called, you'll appreciate this, Matt, 2D and Top D. It is two characters.
Go on.
One plays in 2 dimension, the other plays top down. They're thus 2D and top. But what's cool, and now this is just a simple puzzle game, but the whole object is to get both characters to a endpoint. And you don't move them at the same time, but like maybe there's a gap. So you jump with the 2-dimensional character, you switch to the top-down character, which freezes the screen, and you maybe move like a box underneath. So when you switch back, he lands on it. And then like you could jump again, switch it, he freezes in midair, you place the button. Like they have to help each other in their planes to get to the end goal.
I
There's
saw that. What is that on? When did I see that?
I have it on. I was given a code on Steam. I don't know where else. I don't think it's anywhere else right now.
And is it just the number 2D?
No, it's TOODEE and TOPDEE. 2D spelled out, that like they're both spelled out.
Huh. Yeah, I just searched for it on Steam. It's not showing up.
I got it.
TOODEE and
Top D.
and Top D.
Oh, and okay, that's what I did not.
Yeah.
Okay, there it is.
It's
I mean, it looks cool.
it looks cool.
It has like an Ibn
Like,
Ob look from
yeah.
early PS3.
There was just this one part where the guy's on top of like a locked bridge. And so like it went to the top down view. And so the pigs that are coming at the guy that's like in the 2D view just started going towards the guy in the top. So it went away from the guy in the 2D plane so that he wouldn't get hit by him. It just looks really cool. I've seen this before, and for the life of me, I can't remember where I saw it. It might have been one of the, not like maybe one of the indie shows or I don't know, highlights or something like that. But I've seen it before and it looks really cool. Like I think it's really cool.
Now you can do this all by yourself. You don't need 2 players.
Correct.
Okay.
You push well on the gamepad, you push X and it just switches
Okay.
screens.
And for the listeners at home, it came out on the 4th, August 4th, so it is actually out. So.
And then I played Back for Blood. I enjoyed that. Don't know if I'd play it solo. I mean, you can, but I think the draw is playing in a group. It kind of plays like Counter-Strike, Matt, where like you purchase stuff in between.
Yeah. I mean, like I spent way more time than I care to remember in their last game, Evolve. That was a game.
You got the platinum.
Yes. As much as I love getting trophies and as much as I love getting platinums, that is the one that I actively told people not to play with me while I was going for it, because I was so insufferably stressed out going for it. And that that was the one that sort of changed my whole outlook on things. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not afraid to play a bad game for a quick platinum, but that was the one where I just became unafraid to say, like, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. And when the DLC characters came out, I'm like, nope, not doing it. No, you're not getting any. And the funny thing is, when that game gave me a lot of, I loved that game just playing it. It was just playing it for trophies that really became the problem. So that's hold on, we got someone at my door. I have to leave. I'll be right back.
My only complaint is there's no friendly fire on easy. So obviously I don't know how difficult this is, but can we turn off the audio reflecting that? Like, it's funny, but I don't want to hear.
I agree with
I
you.
don't
Like
want to
after,
I don't want to hear constantly. You shot me. Do you even know how to aim that? Did you go to
Yeah.
basic training? It's
don't park. Watch where you park yourself.
like
Yeah.
at first it's, but like I think it should. I don't know if it like you're on easy. There's no friendly. Well, there's no friendly fire, meaning you can't do damage. So it just got kind of, and you have 4 people in a small space. It's going to, I mean, I can't even imagine playing on like medium. Yeah, and we were 3 out of 4 in a party chat, and it's still
Yeah.
like how do you like that's just it's a smaller space. Like it's not like so I was saying there's friendly fire in Back for Blood.
Okay.
On easy, there's no damage, but the audio is still there. So it's like, hey, watch where you're aiming, like all this nonsense, and it's like, but like it's a small arena in a sense. Like the levels are large, but like we're not talking like Risk of Rain where you're like miles away from like your co-op partner. You're
Right.
all it's going to happen. Like I can't even imagine playing on medium or hard with that. Like I feel like you'd constantly, because it's not like it's 1 or 2. Like I mean, it's like any zombie type game. Like it's not like there's 1 or 2 enemies and you just pick them off. Like there's a lot, and like what are you supposed to wait for the other person to see if they're actually gonna take them out? So it's like, yeah. But besides that, I enjoyed it. But I don't know, $60 seems
Seems a lot.
it's just because the best. Yes, we play a lot in parties and that, but organize. It seems like whenever we try to organize a game that we're going to play as a party, it never works out.
Oh man, it fizzles out as fast as we say it.
Dude, yeah, we're always like, hey, let's play this game.
I mean,
No.
it might just be us. We're awful at this, so it's like $60. Like, I don't want to play with bots. I mean, even if they improve them, they're bots. They're not like. And then playing with randoms, I mean, you can, but like, I think the fun in this is playing with friends.
Okay.
Like, it's an enjoyable co-op game with up to 3 people, other people, but I think you'd get more joy out of just playing with a group, versus. I mean, but I don't know if Moose did. I played some of the PvP that was available. So you play as either 4 people or 4 zombies, and you alternate rounds. And basically, whatever team lasts longer in a round gets a win. So, like if the humans last 4 minutes, but then when you play as the zombies, and it's like the reverse. If the other human team can't last 4 minutes, you get like a point. And you go, then you switch back, and it's kind of like a who lasts the longest. But it's enjoyable. So we'll see. The last game I did play was Axiom Verge 2. I put about 3 hours.
Almost started this up, but then I ended up deciding to hang out with my wife instead.
I put about 3 hours in, and from what I could tell, I'm about the 40% through, because I've seen people beat the game about 8 to 8.5 hours at around like 75% clearing, just
Oh wow.
basically going through the game, like not really aiming for 100 necessarily.
Okay.
I really enjoyed the first one. This one's definitely same quality, if not better. Real enjoyable. Yeah, I bought that. It was released last Thursday. Yes, Thursday.
Yes.
So that's a nice. I actually That was one of my one of my predictions for the indie world from Nintendo.
Yes.
But I mean, it really wasn't a out there guess. I think most people, I mean, Tom Happett tweeted a few times like it'll be ready sooner than you think, and like it'll be here before Metroid, and so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, glad that came out. Still impressive that it's one person really who does that.
I don't
Everything
think I
at
don't
that.
think I don't think this one is just one, to be
No,
fair.
it's probably not.
I know the first one was definitely.
But well done. It is a phenomenal game. Looking forward to finishing it. And that was I think that was it. Yeah.
Okay. So for me, I started and beat a game that was announced as released the day of the Indie World. I started and finished Boyfriend Dungeon. I was really excited for this game just in general because I really liked Kit Fox's last game, Moon Hunters. I think the team there designs really fun games. I didn't know that this game was kickstarted because I played Moon Hunters just because I saw it. I was super into roguelikes at the time, so of course I was going to play that. But then when I found out that both games were, I'm like, oh, okay, this is Boyfriend Dungeon. It's a roguelike dating sim done by the people who did Moon Hunters. Sold. I really liked this game. It gives off a better first impression than I think its finale. But I think if you're into a game like Hades, you can find your way in liking this game. I do not think that I've seen a lot of people say that they like this game better than they like Hades, which is valid because we all have our opinions. But I got the same vibes throughout this as I did in Hades, just in dealing with talking to the weapons and going on dates as they were. I do like that at the beginning of the game, it opens with a content warning. I know they've changed the content warning since the release date, or at least they're about to. I don't know if that's been done yet, but the content warning is for like stalking and emotional manipulation. And I think that's a very necessary content warning because I feel like I'm not a dating sim expert by any stretch, but I feel like the potential for this to happen in the dating sim as a genre is 100% is 100% accurate. And almost immediately I found myself like reflecting on some poor relationship choices that I've made. I think I know I wouldn't really like, I didn't experience a ton of trauma dating, but post my divorce, I did date a couple of women that sort of rang true with one of the characters in Boyfriend Dungeon, specifically the character they're issuing a content warning about. And I had a lot of similar experiences, and I also did like that at the beginning of the game, they also offer an option to turn off the text message that comes from your mom, because you do a lot of texting in this game, and your mom does text you a lot saying, she misses you, she's worried about you, she wants to make sure you're doing okay, she wants to make sure you're happy and healthy, all of that. And while I didn't get that upon first glance, going through Twitter in the days since starting the game, I've seen a lot of people say, you know what, I'm really glad this warning is here, because either me or someone close to me playing this game has lost their mom. and having, someone act as like a cipher in a video game, that can be a bit triggering. And depending on your relationship with your mom, it can be off-putting. But overall, I think the combat and the progression in Boyfriend Dungeon it's very breezy. It's very fun. The weapons handle different enough. I think if you wanted to do a beat for beat comparison with Hades, I think the weapons in Hades are probably better personally. But that doesn't mean this game is anything to sneeze at. I know a lot of people avoid roguelikes or even roguelites. Like, this is definitely way more in the roguelite camp than it is the roguelike. Because I don't think there was ever a run that I had where I didn't make some form of progress. Where because you can level up your weapons not only by interacting with them through like dates and breaks, you can level them up by just engaging in the combat, and you're almost always moving that forward. You cannot go to the end game until you have fully leveled a weapon, and you can spend time in the dungeons. There are 2 dungeons in the game. You can spend time going through and leveling every weapon up. I didn't do that. I just picked the one I liked using the most. It was also the character I like talking with the most. Her name is Valeria. She's a dagger and she's wonderful. By the time I was ready to take on the final boss, like, I'm like, okay, I was happy to put that motherfucker in the ground, because throughout the game, that particular person is completely annoying, completely toxic, and completely fucked. And I'm gonna say fuck Eric in Boyfriend Dungeon. They wrote him really well to the point where I really fucking hate him. And yeah, Boyfriend Dungeon is really cool. I did play more of Game Club Game. I played for a couple of hours, was able to get another boss down. I think I've only beaten 2, so slowly but surely. And then I did fire up more Void Bastards on the PS5. That game is still really fun, and it's still really silly. And it's also like, it's the good kind of maddening from a roguelike. I mean, in Void Bastards, the progression is kind of like a tree, like Slay the Spire, where you can pick, you have like a couple of choices after each encounter. You go to that ship, it gives you enough information where you're like, I think I could do that, or I don't think I can do that. But then you get there and you realize, I shouldn't have come here. I'm going to die. and then you die, and you're one ship away from your destination to get that next component. And Void Bastards is really good. Who knew? Except besides everybody that played it when the year it came out. And then I started up a game yesterday on Game Pass called Art of Rally. This is a racer. It's by a developer called Fun Selector. I do not know where they're from, but it's an isometric racer. It's very pretty. It's very fun to drive around in. It's also not the easiest thing. You can have an open world mode where you just kind of just wander around, which is nice. Or you can basically just do a rally career where it starts you in 1967. I think the first couple of races are in Japan, and then I've got to the second set. I don't remember. I think it's 1970, where it is in Kenya. And the environment, like driving around, doing the races in this game. Normally, you think about a racer, you think about either your arcade style, like your Burnout, your San Francisco Rush, your Cruising USAs, or you think of Gran Turismo. While you get definite different interactions in those games. You don't necessarily get the meditative, relaxed feeling upon first glance. Art of Rally is really chill to even it is really chill to just be bad at racing in. And speaking as someone who is very bad at racing and very bad at Art of Rally, I enjoy Art of Rally quite a bit. Soundtrack slaps. It's very I don't want to say Hotline Miami, but it's like if you were really into Hotline Miami's soundtrack the year it came out, it sounds very much like the people that were into Hotline Miami. They'd say like, well, if you like Hotline Miami, check out this artist. I think Kavinsky it sounds a lot like Kavinsky, a lot like there was a artist called College that I think they did a song on the Drive soundtrack. It's very much that. It's mostly instrumental, very synthwave. It's wonderful. And that's really it for me. I've only had a chance with 3 games, but I have picked up quite a bit on Game Pass. I almost started up Hades again.
On the Game Pass? Is it on PC
Yeah.
as well?
It's on Game Pass, PC Game Pass as well.
Nice.
And
Hell yeah.
I am this close to. I saw today that there are 2 trophy lists for it, so.
2 trophy lists because 4 and 5.
Yeah. So
we know who's gonna be buying that soon.
That might be happening. But
quick side note on. Oh, go ahead. Finish.
I mean, I picked up a lot of games that I wanted to start. Curse of the Dead Gods is on Game Pass, so I wanted to try that. And
thanks about that.
And then Chris Tales is on Game Pass as well, so want to try that.
Yeah, I'm thinking more and more I'm gonna like start investing in Game Pass as well. But the thing I had a quick remark about Hades. Like our boy Justin was like tweeting about it, and he's like, I've tried 5 times and I can't beat Meg. And I laughed my ass off at that tweet. I love him, but I'm like, 5 times. I'm like,
that's it.
Get in the ring.
That's it.
So
it took me like 15 times to beat Meg. No lie.
Yeah,
like
I was probably more than that. But I just replied to his tweet. I said, you really need to stop counting. Like, don't count.
Don't think about it.
I said, number 1, it's going to be hard. So in all honesty, I'm not saying it's like unfair, the bosses in the game, but I also feel like they built a certain difficulty around it. And it's kind of like being like level 1 in a level 5 area, and you get your, or like a level 20 area, and you get your ass handed to you, and you go back to the hub. Well, they kind of built it in where you can like level your character, and the game gets a little bit easier and a little bit easier. But also, they built so much into the story, like you want to go back to the hub, and so it's like you just lose count and just like enjoy messing around with each of the weapons and just have a good time, and just you'll figure out which weapons and god buff combos you like the most. Like when I roll up with rolling with the Trident, if I roll up on Hades, or not Hades, Ares, I love his stuff with that. You know, you'll just figure out what works for you and get to the end eventually. And I think it was like 32 tries to beat it, and I was finally able to beat it. Like 32 tries attempt at the end boss, who all 3 of us know who that is.
Yeah.
But anyways, I was just like, dude, just stop counting and just enjoy the game. So I was like, hey, he did reply back to the tweet that he finally beat her twice, 2 times in a row. And I said, well, keep going. Just keep building on that. You just got to keep building on it, So
yes, like and just like that game, just thinking about it, that's like a guitar solo game if there ever was one. It's just one constant guitar solo, just about every aspect of it. It's really good.
Yeah. I told Jeff I came this close to buying it on PS5. I was like, I had to step away. I was like, he's like, nope, don't do it. I'm like, I know. If it was maybe like 20 instead of 24.99, I would have bought it instantly. But I was like, it's 25. I'll wait
Yeah.
for a holiday sale, or
Yeah,
even or until Matt breaks down.
Yeah,
It's like I want both those trophy lists.
like I was looking at it, I'm like, okay, this has to be. I have to hold out at this point. I have to. But I did also see a couple of other games on Game Pass that I was really interested in. Dodgeball Academia. I don't really know. I watched the trailer for it. I saw the editor-in-chief of Uppercut talking about it, and I trust their opinion on games, especially indies. They're really adept at picking indies that I like. So I'm gonna try that, and then I thought I saw The Ascent was on Game Pass, but
It is.
Is it?
Mhm.
Huh. I just looked for it and it said no. I think you're lying to me, Game Pass.
Wait, what game?
The Ascent.
The Ascent.
It's on there.
Okay, then I'm crazy and that's fine.
It's on PC and console Game Pass.
Okay. And then the other one I saw and downloaded the follow-up game to I don't think it's a sequel, but it's the same folks who made the adventure game Virginia from a few years ago.
Great game.
Yes, game rules.
Highly recommend that game.
And they have Last Stop. It is on Game Pass as well. So
for those who sorry, for the listeners at home, Virginia, there's like no dialogue.
There's no dialogue.
It's a game with it's like a action, like a whatchamacallit, story mode, action, like point and click mouse. Like I think of it like a little bit of Grim Fandango, like along those lines, Monkey Island, whatever. But it's just really cool how like there's like no dialogue. It's just all conveyed in sound and facial expressions on the characters. It's really good.
Right. And it's not photorealistic. It's predominantly
right. It's got like a really cool art style to it.
And the way that they convey a narrative that sort of wraps in over on itself. I mean, that game is dope. You should play it. I'm really excited to get into Last Stop. So
also, last note for the trophy owners out there, it's a pretty easy platinum.
Oh yeah, you do it in like an hour. It's not a long game. So yeah, that's it for me.
Oh, and I totally forgot. I beat Eldest Souls.
Oh shit! I started Eldest Souls and I didn't talk about it.
I forgot about Axiom Verge too. I started that as well. I just forgot.
No, but I was like, when did I beat this? And I beat it Tuesday night, or maybe I beat it Monday into Tuesday. Anyway, I beat it twice actually. I went back through because I was trying for all the achievements, and there's 5 left that I don't have, and one of them is going to be you have to beat it without any powers. So yeah, I don't know if I want to put myself through that.
Well, you have to beat it without any powers,
without using any of the shards.
Oh, okay, all right.
Use the shards in any skill. Yeah, that's going to be because some of those shards saved my life a few times. But that's a really fun challenge. Yeah. But it's a lot of fun, and I was surprised, but the music is really cool.
The music
has a different like theme almost, and like it's just there's story. I mean, you could look at the lore, but it's really just boss fight after boss fight.
Yeah,
no other enemies.
Few NPCs.
There's a few.
Yeah, there's a few, but not many. Once
you meet you get to a section and you meet them, and that's it. Because you're there's only 10 bosses.
It's
not even that big of a game, and they're all kind of right there. Like, what was it, Titan Souls? That game I feel is massive compared to this. Like, this game's actually tiny in scale. Like, all the bosses are really like right there. Like, there's not a lot of travel. Like,
Yeah, I played a little bit of Titan Souls like a week or two
I
ago.
feel like, am I wrong? But I feel like this has more weapons and whatnot as well. I feel Titan Souls was just the arrow, right? And then you had to she had like one arrow, and it was like puzzle solving for the
Mhm.
bosses. Am I right in that, or did
Yeah,
you
you're
get
right.
other stuff later on?
You're right.
All right.
Okay, all right.
It doesn't
Okay.
have weapons, but the shards can be mixed and matched in different.
Yeah.
They can be used in up to like
I think
slots.
there's like well, I mean, there's shards and then there's skill points.
Well, there's skill points, and then the shards can be used in depending on where you put which is cool. Like you can use the shard as your alternate attack. You can use it as your dash ability.
Mm-hmm.
As like so you can move it to different, and it does different things based on where and what you're. So you kind of have, but you only have one weapon. But it's modified how she acts in battle, which is it's cool to kind of change it all up.
Nice.
But yeah, I did beat that. I'm going to try for the 100%, but
It's not gonna break his back.
Right, yeah.
Try to
Well, I
do.
mean, like I almost kind of feel like that would be and I'm gonna say it like that's totally a game I would save Scum to do that because this is their one you have to go through it without dying.
Yeah, that too. Which is funny because I've beaten every boss without dying. There's an achievement for beating each of them, not as one.
Without you've beaten them all without taking damage.
Yes, that was it.
Okay.
Yeah. Like
although sometimes it feels like you walk in and just die.
Oh yeah. This game has the achievements that people who speed run and do things for the fun of it after they don't have official achievements or trophies. They just do them. This game has that stuff that people just do like let's do a SL1 run or something like
there
that.
You go. This is your SL1 trophy.
But no, it's definitely it's a lot of fun. They did an excellent job. I actually was going to review this, and then on the first night when I died 32 times, I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to finish this game right now. But then I literally played for like 7 hours straight. I like looked up and it was like 3:30 in the morning, and I'm like, shit.
Yeah, like I was busted. I was banging my head against EOS, and I think you were online playing I did the dumb thing. I should have just went to bed, but I did the dumb thing of comparing achievements, and I'm like, holy shit, Jason's done a lot of these without getting hit. And I mean, granted, like I knew it's like if you get hit, you just die and then start over and do it until you don't. But I was like, holy crap. And I had that dumb achievement envy that, I'm an adult and shouldn't fucking have. So I started trying. I started trying to do that. And I'm just like, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to go to bed. And I went to bed angry, and it could have all been avoided if I hadn't just compared the achievements. But that game's combat before you move on, that game's combat system is really fucking elegant.
Yeah, it's simple but not.
It's simple and deep.
Yeah, like the execution's pretty easy, but yeah, like you said, it's deep. Like I said, the talents you can mix and match and kind of completely change the play style.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, Jason, say what you were going to say real quick.
No, well, you both mentioned Game Club. They just added on PC a new game plus.
Oh, nice.
Coming to console. And they also added these challenge runs, which I love this game, but some of these challenge runs, fuck off.
Right.
Like, you can set it so you can't take damage. Like you can actually set it that if you get hit, you die.
And start over again.
Not like, oh, I'm going to do a no damage run and then like kind of judge yourself. No, like the game sets it up that you just end back up at a respite if you get hit. And it's like,
fuck.
Yeah.
That would be so.
So I feel like you play too many games to do that challenge, but I feel like you could totally do like the hitless, the deathless runs that people do with Souls games, like in your fucking sleep, dude. But
Yeah.
because you play so many different games, you don't have time to like sit there and like focus on it, you know. But anyways, I think that's cool, and that's what I was gonna say. Like, it would be cool if they did that with like Eldest Ring or Elden Ring. Like, if like after the game comes out, you have like the achievements and the platinum trophy. They could release like trophies to be like, if you're a challenge runner, you can have these achievements. You know, like a deathless, a hitless, whatever. Kind of come up with some cool challenge runs and actually give those runners achievements to work on in Steam or trophies or achievements on Xbox, you know, whatever. I think that would be really cool. Like, and that's kind of adding something to the game. I mean, most of them are going to do it anyways, but like some people like me might be like, well, I could do Deathless. I think I could do Deathless if I worked at it a little bit. Like, I think I could do Bloodborne Deathless if I worked at it a little bit. But so like that would be cool. Like, it would like get those people that are like, some of these runs I can do to go back to the game, you know, and give them a little bit more replayability with it. Not that Dark Souls 3 doesn't have a shit ton of replayability, but you know what I mean.
But yeah, I mean, there's a couple modes, like no prayers, no heal. Okay.
Oof.
So you don't get a heal?
You can only heal if you save.
So like go to the
okay, you know what? That's all right. That's way easier.
That might not be too bad.
That might not be too bad.
I mean, that's not bad considering you usually save before a boss fight. Like, there's only one boss, not counting the mini bosses. There's only one boss in the game where you actually have to go through like 5 or 6 enemies. So it's not terrible, but I mean, it's cool that I like that. Like I mentioned in my review of Jupiter Hell, once you beat the game, they open up all these challenge runs. Like, and I think the challenge adds so much. Like, it's there for people who still want to play, and if you really aren't interested, just go on. Like, I mean, sure, I'll try it, but I mean, I did 100%, and I mean, it's probably my game of the year. So something like this, I would go back to. But I think just adding the replayability like this, like they even put in a boss rush mode, which that's insane because some of those bosses were like,
some of those bosses are,
some of those were like verge of breaking my Switch in half fights. It's like, I don't know if I want to take all the bosses on at once in a row, but yeah. So, but that's so. Hopefully, I'll try some of that before. I don't know if it's going to roll out before Game Club on console because I think everyone's playing on Switch or PlayStation. It's only on PC right now. The new modes. So
okay.
So maybe I'm going to try to attempt them just so I can experience it and mention it. But and then before news, Moose, you wanted to.
Grime. I totally forgot that I played some of Grime. It's a Metroidvania Souls-like on Steam, and it is a lot of fun. You basically the character kind of reminds me of the one from Dead Cells, where like you just seem to be like a glowing orb that took over like a structural body, and basically you move through the game and you'll gain weapons. Right now I'm using an axe, and it's cool because you have a weak attack and a strong attack, but the strong attack is like completely different animation. And I also have a two-handed mace, or it might not be two-handed. It's just larger. It's a large mace, I should say. And that also
big hammer.
Yes, Kirk Hammer Bros. But anyways, it is pretty interesting. It also has a mechanic built into the game where it's like got a pairing system, but the pairing system, like you absorb the enemy. So like each enemy has a health bar, and if you can like learn how the enemy attacks, you can parry at the right moment and just basically absorb the enemy. But guess what that does? That fills your heal bar. So you can only heal if you absorb your enemies. So I think you have to fill it up like there's a bar and it's like 3 times. So like usually like one or two, like maybe 3 or 4 enemies will fill it all the way, and then you can heal yourself. So like it's you really want to learn the parry system. And then I've only fought one boss, and then because I played it for like an hour or so one night, and then switched over to try Death's Door and had some issues with that, and I was like, I'll go play PS5. So I went and played PS5, but um, it's pretty cool. I highly recommend checking it out if you're looking for something that's different and cool. And like I said, it's got some cool Souls mechanic, and then the Metroidvania stuff is pretty badass about it. It's got a really cool art style too.
And this is not a roguelike, right?
No, Metroidvania with like
Okay.
kind of Souls-like combat,
Okay.
but yeah, I
This
thoroughly
this looks really good, actually.
yeah, dude, it is really good. Like the first boss is really cool because you can do damage to the boss with regular swings, but then like you also have to like absorb. He's got hands. Like I think they built the first boss off of like some of the stuff that you see in the first area, like the enemies, because he's got like hands that come out from him and they go up and down, and then there's certain ones that have like a stone wall, and it like kind of like slides from the center of him because he's in the middle of the screen out to the edge, and you have to either jump around it. You can dodge through stuff too, so you can dodge through enemies, which is cool. But like you have to like there's arms that don't have the stone walls, so as they're coming down, you have to hit the parry button at the right time to absorb that arm, and then you can get in closer to at least get a bunch of swings in on him before another arm kind of like grows back, kind of like Amygdala a little bit, I would say, except in place. So he has like 2 sets of arms. He's got the ones with the stone walls, and then the ones that are just regular hands. And you'll meet those in the world. Like they'll just be over top of a vase that you have to get past, or an enemy you have to get past. And you're like, well, how am I gonna do this? And so like you could walk in, it'll come down to hit you. You just absorb it real quick, and then you're able to attack the other enemy. And so it's pretty cool. I'm terrible at parrying in Dark Souls, except for Bloodborne, and apparently Demon Souls. I'm better in Demon Souls than I am Dark Souls 3, and so I'm getting better at this. But it's definitely a game where you want to like spend some time, and be like, listen, I really need to learn this.
Yeah,
you know, because like Bloodborne, like to do it and get the viscerals on the bosses, especially if you're skill based, because skill scales your visceral damage. It's just like it's a no-brainer. Like just parry and get the visceral. So, but yeah, Grime is a lot of fun. Or Grim.
It's Grime. I'm looking at a lot of the games that have been talked about this year, and I'm really starting to think that I might want to get a Steam Deck because that looks like just thinking about, taking a lot of the stuff on the go. Like I think that would be fun. But yeah, and I wanted to say one more quick thing on parrying in Demon Souls. Demon Souls that's the one where the parry windows are wide on just about everything, and it teaches you the fundamentals of parrying really, really well, I think, as long as you're willing to explore it. Whereas Dark Souls, everything is nuanced. So like in Demon Souls, I got to the point where I could parry just about everything. I think the only thing you can't parry are bosses. I don't think any boss is parryable. But like in the run that I played with Ahmed, like any NPC, any invader came in, got parried at least once. When I did the old monk fight, I was parrying like it was my job. But if you were to send me into Dark Souls 1 right now, the only thing I could tell you 100% certain that I could parry without fail would be a black or silver knight with a sword and shield. I can't do the one with the spear very well. If they have the great sword, nah, dog. But if they have the sword and the shield, I got their number all day. But yeah, I do like that games are finding ways to finding different ways to heal rather than just finding a resource or relying on sitting at bonfires for Estus flasks or the like the fact that you have to parry in this one in order to get health back. I do like that idea a lot. So I will definitely I'm definitely adding that to my wish list, and when I'm able to, I will purchase.
And before we move on to the news quickly, speaking of parrying to heal, Mortal Shell did that. You had to activate it, but
Yes.
more importantly, if you are a fan of Mortal Shell, or even if you plan on getting it, the DLC, which comes out this week, will be free for 5 days. So
Yes.
be sure it's free to pick up and you keep it. You don't. It's not like, oh, just try it for 5 days. Otherwise, you have to spend $8.
I believe this episode comes out on the 19th or the 20th of August, and it'll be available till the 23rd of August.
You know what? I'll put a link in the YouTube to remind everyone.
I'm 100%, waiting for that and getting it, because eventually I'm gonna go back to Mortal Shell. Eventually I will.
Right. The big news this week, we had a Nintendo Indie World, and they announced quite a bit of games. So I'm just gonna run through them. We'll stop at a few. First up, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, which basically is a spiritual successor to Jet Set Radio. This looks badass.
Yeah, it does look like a lot of fun.
Yes, I'm so excited. This is coming somewhere else.
Coming out in 2022.
Hell yeah.
This fall, we will get Toem.
This game looks interesting. Like I looked at this and I'm like, man, I want to play this. So
the showstopper next was Loop Hero, was announced for Switch this holiday.
Yes.
Yes, definitely double dipping.
Yep.
I even mentioned in my review that this would be absolutely perfect on a handheld.
Yes.
And I know come next year I can't even use that joke with the Steam Deck available.
Yep.
But no, Loop Hero definitely could. It's not even an adjustment. Like, Loop Hero will work on the Switch with not like there's so few buttons, but you do so much in the game.
Yes.
It's just
nice.
So I think I'm more happy that I'm happier that more people get to experience this. This weirdness. Like, I can't even do it justice with the description, but it's such a phenomenal game. And I think it's awesome that a mass amount of people get to experience it now. I mean, it runs on pretty much any PC. It runs on anything, really.
Oh yeah.
But
nice.
On the go, like for people who commute or have downtime at work, I mean, this is going to be awesome.
This would be a perfect game to have handheld for me at work. Like, I could make so much more progress just by being able to look at this in between patients. For like, you don't even need a lot. You could do a loop in a minute, and then and then you're ready. Like, you could do all your preparation. You can pause it. It's Loop Hero fucking rips.
Next up, early 2022 is Far Changing Tides.
Yeah. That's a sequel to something. Far something else. Was it another subtitle, or?
I think there was a subtitle.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know what that is, but I don't know what the original. But I just remember this game looks cool. I'm having a hard time recalling it right now.
But available now, but it was announced. Necro Barista.
Yes. Nice visual novel game.
I mean, it's not for me, but I can get behind this because it's about coffee. I mean, coffee's important even to the dead.
Yeah.
Also currently available, obviously, Boyfriend Dungeon we've talked about.
Hell yeah.
Birds 2,
Hell yeah.
Garden Story.
Hell yeah.
That looks good.
Next up, we finally got a release window, Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon this holiday. It's a match 3, but with more
It's
more
like
to that. There's
like Shovel Knight Puzzle Quest, essentially.
yeah. It's not
Isn't this like newly announced? I've never heard of this game before, and
This is new. This is new.
no.
It's like so. It was like I thought it was like
What's the other?
like
And I'm thinking of something else that
you're thinking of the other one where it's like the digging one.
yeah, isn't that a cross? Yes, I'm thinking of the
It's
one.
like it's like a 2D platformer like digging game.
But isn't it a crossover with something else?
Yes, you are. Yes, and it's out now.
Is it?
I'll look it up. Yeah.
Also out now, Islanders. This actually reminded me of so this you build up these islands with increase, you keep expanding. You know the game, well, it's based off a puzzle game 2048.
Mm-hmm.
This seemed like that. Like it seemed like you had to like build the minimal stuff and then kind of as you got there, like kept going, but it's on a grander scale. It's not like just one board. It seems there's multiple like locations you can use. But I think it's a lot more relaxing. There's no like, it's not fast paced. Like you just gradually play stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We already knew about this, but now we know. Well, we knew 2022, but Metal Slug Tactics was shown,
and it makes me want it more every time I see it. I've only seen it twice, but I want it a lot.
This next one was a bit of a surprise, coming out October 8th. Tetris Effect on Switch.
Yeah, what the fuck?
And it seems like it has full crossplay.
And it seems like it works well. I mean, granted, I know it's a sizzle reel and the presentation, so it better look great, but still.
And then they kind of built Tetris 99 into it.
Yeah.
And co-op.
Yeah.
It's like you have you have to use like you play as one of 4 screens for a line and have to like work with your which looks pretty cool.
Yes.
Shovel Knight Dig. Thank you.
Yeah, I could have the site that I got that name from says it's not out, but I could have swore it was already out.
What is this a crossover with though?
SteamWorld Dig?
Is it SteamWorld Dig? Was that what it was? Because I feel it wasn't Yacht Club who announced it originally. I think there was something from Steam. I'm drawing a blank. SteamWorld Dig's dev mentioned it, but anyway, coming this January is Astroneer, which is out on PlayStation and I believe PC.
Yes, I believe it's out on Xbox as well.
And then we got a bit of a sizzle reel, 100 Days. This next one was Michaela's favorite title because she hated it so much.
Oh man,
Slime Rancher Plotable Edition.
Yep. She was so pissed off that day. And Michaela, if you listen to this, I mean no shade. I tried to warn her. I tried to just place a warning about the puns in Boyfriend Dungeon, and she's like, "I hate you." I'm like,
I'm like, it's like, whoa, girl, just saying.
I was trying to be nice, and granted, I totally respect her position on the matter because
y'all are freaking punny.
Yeah, I am on my bullshit with some dumb puns.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Next up is Lumbear Jack.
Oh God, yes.
Curious Expedition 2. Gang Beast.
Hell yeah.
And then the show closed with a release date for Eastward, the Chucklefish game, September 16th.
That looks so good. The pixel art on it just looks really freaking good. And the good thing is, it's a timed exclusive console-wise. So I have a feeling.
Actually, and I didn't mark it down. There was a number of things that actually said a timed exclusive for these, so they will be coming Elsewhere, I think some of like Metal Slug Tactics, definitely I think is perfect for the Switch.
Yes.
Yeah.
That kind of gameplay, but Axiom Verge 2 is out on PlayStation and Epic, not Steam. Yeah,
Not Steam. Okay.
I don't know if that's timed exclusive. They didn't mention it, but
Most likely that will be. I don't really see how that wouldn't be.
no, because Axiom Verge is on Steam, so it just,
Yeah.
I think just Epic was the one who picked it up first. So,
Hmm.
but yeah, I mean I've never been disappointed in Indie World, even if I don't like all the games. I mean, this one obviously Loop Hero was enough, and I bought Axiom Verge too. But I mean, they showed quite a bit.
Yes, and again, Nintendo is kind of just putting on a clinic in terms of like how to do this sort of thing. I think, and there have been several both mainline Nintendos and indie worlds that we may not come out of being, super ecstatic about, or maybe one of us is and the rest are kind of like, but Nintendo has really been doing this right.
I think
And
the key is these are pre-recorded. There's not a lot of
Fluff.
showmanship in a way. There's no like show, like nobody's. They do have the talking, like usually the devs do stuff, but it's been done. Like there's no like, and no disrespect to him, but there's no like Jeff Keighley like announcing it, giving a backstory. Like here's the game. Yeah, okay, we have the dev. We'll let them talk for 5 minutes, but it's already been done. It's pre-recorded.
Right.
There's not that it's that scripted, but there's no off script. There's no going off on tangents. Like we're just gonna and they showed like what 20 something games. Like a lot of these, like I mean, I always get excited for the state of plays, and they're pretty direct to what they're gonna show. But like this is like rapid fire, like
Mhm.
20 minutes, and we got 20 games. Like,
Well, I think the other key here, I mean, like you're saying, it's pretty well scripted, but also when they're letting devs or spokespeople for devs speak, they're not forced to do it live. They're not forced into being nervous. They're not forced into a situation.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely, you could tell, I mean, like there's definitely like multiple takes in these, so they can at least get the message right. And then also there's not that self-aggrand. I mean, I don't put Phil Spencer in this category because I like listening to Phil Spencer when he gets up and talks at Xbox. But like that dude for EA who just walks up like he just thinks he's the hottest thing since sliced bread every time. Like there's none of that. There's no like self-aggrandization, I guess would be the term.
Look what we are giving you, plebes.
Yes.
and
Yes.
what I mean, I think it's because it's the indie direct. There's always gameplay. There's no leaving a direct thinking, oh, I wonder what this is gonna play like.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They always show, like, I understand the need for like the big cinematic, like when Xbox shows off like a new Gears, you're probably not gonna see gameplay. You'd see a movie, like something cool, like badass. But like these, I think, and I think it's also key for the indie devs. Like we want to show you, we want to get you interested in the game. Like a cinematic, sure, it appeals to some, but like
Well,
personally,
they also kind of need it because
yeah, I mean, but for me personally, even these big games like God of War Ragnarok, yeah, we're gonna see some big cinematic, but like I mean personally, I want to see gameplay. Like when I look on Steam at games, I always move the cursor. Like I don't care about the intro to the Steam.
Yeah.
I want to see the game. I usually skip that first video. I want to see the gameplay. I want to see how this.
Yeah.
Like I'm already on the page. I know I'm interested. I want to see how you're playing.
You don't have to sell me with a selling video. Like
Right,
I'm already here.
That you need to sell some people on some things, and I get that. But like,
yeah.
The direct is more of a. I mean, the directs are usually the indie ones, are at least they're always like a sizzle reel. Some might take a little longer, but they do show you pretty much know what you're about to if you pick it up what you're playing.
And it would have been really cool to get a release date for Skull and the TMT game.
Oh, and yeah, just speaking of that, Spelunky 1 and 2, August 26th on the Switch.
Yes, 10 days from now.
There was something I read about it didn't get in time for the, I don't know, for the show or something. I don't know.
I was going to say, it's shocking that Nintendo wasn't like, we need to include this. But
it was literally the next day. So my guess is there was some certification, and since this is pre-recorded, maybe they couldn't fit it.
Yeah, or maybe it was recorded like a month ago and they were.
Yeah, it could be. Spelunky 1 and 2 will be on Switch August 26th.
Yeah, so I looked it up and I was right that the Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon, that was world premiere. Which is interesting. Like, and I've never heard of the developer for it. It's not the developers of SteamWorld Dig.
It's not Yaku. No, Shovel Knight Dig, I thought was
no, even them aren't.
Yeah,
even
that's
that
not.
is. No, I meant to say that Shovel World Dig is not the same as SteamWorld Dig developers.
Yeah,
so,
I thought I was just guessing, but
I think they're doing all the right stuff and just letting like indie developers come in and be like, hey, apply this, game style mechanic to our IP, and it looks like a lot of them are doing a really good job with it. I'd like to play both.
I mean, I like that it seems to me that Shovel Knight has gone the way of Ratchet and Clank in being put in several different styles of games. But doing it, I'm going to say this. I think the games where Shovel Knight has stepped out of its Metroidvania are probably, they seem to me to be better than the Ratchet and Clank games where they've done that. And I just think that, I think that wouldn't happen for Shovel Knight as well as it has without seeing how it went for Ratchet and Clank. The one I'm really curious about, Shovel Knight Showdown. The fighting game.
That might be the one that's out already.
It is out. It is.
That's the one I was thinking that was out. Not Shovel Knight Dig. I was like, I know there's one that's out already.
Yeah, Shovel Knight Showdown is basically a fighting game with all the Shovel Knight characters, and that I am into.
Yeah, that seems like it'd be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. And then the Shovel Knight Dig developer is a developer named Nitrome, and they've done a lot of web and mobile games, like a lot, like a lot.
Yeah, that list is like at least like 60 or 70.
It's a lot. Like they've been doing it since 2005. Clearly they know how to make a game or two, or 500 at this point.
Yep.
Anything else, Jason?
Nope. I think that's it.
Man, I was so worried we were going to find a way to make the gamers mad, but guess what?
It's not all about you.
Story Route Zero, we have some cool friends who do some cool things, and I'd like to tell you about them. Phoenix Overdrive uses the power of games and gamers to help heal sick kids through the charity Extra Life. Phoenix Overdrive fundraises for Children's Miracle Network hospitals all year, every year, and the fund culminates in a 24-hour gaming marathon. Find out more about their events and projects online via Facebook at facebook.com/Phoenix Overdrive or on Twitter and Instagram at PHX_Overdrive. You can also join the Facebook group of Pawn Stars at facebook.com/groups/PO Nation in order to share and discuss all the latest in nerd culture. They've also got a podcast, Nerd Overdrive, which you can see weekly at youtube.com/Phoenix Overdrive. You can also catch it on Facebook Live or twitch.tv/PHX_Overdrive. That podcast is also published on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher. You want merch? They got merch. Merch can be ordered from tinyurl.com/PHXODmerch, a portion of which goes to their fundraising efforts. Join the nation and be a hero to sick kids, as El Capitan Ray Osorio, Lee the Maestro, and Becky, the lovely queen of the guild, always say, #RiseAbove. Thank you for listening to Story Route Zero. We hope you have enjoyed your time here as much as we've enjoyed having you. Once again, questions, concerns, complaints, pictures of pets, or favorite recipes can be sent to storyroute0@gmail.com. You can yell at us on Twitter @StoryRoute0. Rate us and review us on iTunes, YouTube, or wherever you may have found us, as it helps with discoverability. If you'd like to hit us up individually, you can find Moose Cool @Sven, that's SVHENN on Twitter, PSN, Instagram, and of course Twitch, streaming games. You can find Jason Marshall writing at obelisk.co. You can also find him on Twitter @GimpyJ with 2 Y's at the end, as well as PSN, Instagram, and Twitch. He also has his own website, whereisthepausebutton.com. You can find Michaela Crescione doing all sorts of writing at obelisk.co, as well as on Twitter @RedXMaud. My name is Matthew Keel. You can find me everywhere I'd like to be @infinite_rewind. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's Twitch, that's PSN, and I also have my own website, infiniterewind.com. Be sure to check us out at all the places. You are always welcome, and you will always have a seat waiting for you on this ride. Thank you for listening, but for now, it's back to the real world for us. So we will see you on the next one.